Are you dying to step outside of your interior design comfort zone? You might be already within a renovation, thinking about a renovation, or in the middle of redecorating, and you're just desperately trying to step outside of those safety lines of what you've normally done before, or perhaps haven't done before, and that's why you feel nervous and unsure. I'm going to give you 3 alternative ideas of how just a simple change in how you think about your interior can help elevate it and make it look like an interior designer has been in there for you. The key area I'm talking about is your ceiling. It's easy to forget that actually your ceiling, more often than not, is the same surface area as your floor. And you know what a difference great flooring can make, whether it's too light or too dark. And I think we forget that the ceiling can also have a similar big impact onto our interior. We've all seen the colour drenching kind of phenomenon, really, but if you don't have the appetite for something quite that extreme and you're a bit scared to step into that zone, or you just don't like that look, then hopefully these ideas that I'm going to share with you might be a little bit more within the realms of comfort for you. What I'm going to show you are chic combinations that will make the difference. I've chosen 3 pretty distinctive colours, a green, a blue and a pink actually, and you can kind of apply this theory to whatever wall colour you have anyway. I'm going to use Farrow Ball's colour cards because I adore Farrow Ball, and they were actually founded here in Wimborne, Dorset. They're actually across the way from me here. The thing with paints is that different paints do different things. So for example, if you're in a listed building and the fabric of the building needs to breathe, then a chalk paint is what you need. And there are other brands out there, much like Farrow Ball, who really were founded to be used within a heritage setting. And so those are the kind of things that you really need to be mindful of if you are redecorating. But that's a whole another conversation. I've chosen the Nancy's blushes because it's such a pretty pink. I absolutely adore this shade of pink. This isn't just for a typical girl's room. This could actually be for, I don't know, a boot room, or it could be a dressing room, or it could be maybe a guest cloakroom where you're really gonna go for something different. Mizzle, because it's a really beautiful hue of green. It's got that tiny bit of grey in it. And I would imagine there'll be quite a few of you out there who either like this colour or have this colour already. Stiff Key Blue, because it's very, very strong. There are stronger Farrow Ball blues that you could use, but I have seen this a lot in people's homes and in my clients' homes, whether it's in the kitchen, a hallway, a bedroom even, or a gentleman's dressing room. But because it's such a strong blue, it does raise that question around what colour do I paint the ceiling or the architrave or the skirting for that matter. There are a lot of designers and individuals out there who do paint their wall and the skirting the same colour, but you might not want to go as far as painting the ceiling as well. So here we go. So for Nancy's blushes, I'm suggesting white tie. White tie isn't a million miles away from brilliant white or even just a standard white. It's tiny, tiny bit creamier, and you would be surprised what a difference that would make. Most rooms have shadows cast in them somewhere, and so particularly with Farrow Ball, it won't be the same colour on your ceiling as it would do on a wall, for example. It will look slightly darker, if I can use that word for a white. So that's something to always bear in mind with particularly a chalk paint, that your room and where the sun rises and sets will be totally unique, and that's why sampling is super, super important as well, but that's something that you can explore. Also, this option is for if you kind of don't want to go down the road of a complementing pinky white, because that kind of can look a bit too predictable, but you want to step outside the realms of brilliant white, then white tie could be for you. And depending again on your styling, I kind of see this potentially being on the ceiling, the architrave, the walls could be in Nancy's blushes, and then if you're feeling pretty crazy, then maybe the skirting could be in white tie as well. I know that might not be what some people would do, but it really does depend on your room, your style, you as a person, and ultimately you've got to just do what you want and what you want to see. The best thing for you to do, as I say, is sample to the nth degree, you know, paint bits here and there and kind of see what it looks like, live with it for a bit, and then make your final choice, probably after a week. These things do take time. Now for Mizzle, which I absolutely adore Mizzle could go anywhere, couldn't it? It could be in a living room, it could be in a TV room, it could even be in a kitchen. It would look super chic in a shaker type country kitchen. I've paired it with pointing. It would go quite nicely with white tie as well, but white tie's got a bit of a creamier look where pointing doesn't, and the two together work quite well. They've got that softness there, and it's really amazing. It's really worth just offering up white tie and pointing with the Mizzle to kind of see what I'm saying. I mean, it's very, very subtle, but it's these tiny subtleties that really do make the difference. I mean, I remember working for a client who was having two different whites. I mean, it was at a manor house, and you know, you could be forgiven for thinking, please come on, two different whites, but actually once it was painted on the wall, it was just that little something extra. And as I say, these are the things that make it look like an interior designer has been in your home and designed for you. Stiff Key Blue, I've paired it with Stir About. Stir About has a tiny bit of sort of grey brown to it, and complements that Stiff Key Blue beautifully. It's a bit of a darker look, and it's sort of erring on the realms of kind of dramatic, but not as dramatic as a white would be. There's a softness there that I think could really be a beautiful thing for a sitting room, for example, or a drawing room, or somewhere where you're going to retire to in the evening and kind of have that lovely calm time. That's what Stir About paired with the Stiff Key Blue is giving. Again, depending on what type of house you've got, what features there are, how dark that room is. I mean, I wouldn't be scared to use Stiff Key Blue in a dark room and Stir About as your ceiling. If you've got a picture rail, sometimes just picking out that picture rail can give that kind of heritage feel, and I love that, particularly if that's the type of house that you've got. You could paint the picture rail in Stiff Key Blue as well as the architrave and the skirting. Controversial again, I know. Equally, if you're in a more modern home, definitely I kind of see this in a more family room. If you love a dramatic kitchen with deep colours, then this would also work on the kitchen as well. Those are three options to demonstrate how you can step outside of the realms of brilliant white on your ceilings and think about your space in a slightly different way, kind of like a designer would. It's not about necessarily what other people think. This is about what you think, and kind of you being the hero of your own home. And as soon as you walk into that home, you want to feel totally relaxed. It's a reflection of you, and you've got to love it. So I hope that's helpful. If you want to see any other colour combinations, just let me know. Or if you want to see any other brands, paint brands, let me know as well, because there's quite a few out there that people don't really know about and that we use in the interiors world that have really great properties, colourways, and look great once they're painted as well. So I hope that's helpful. It's kind of what I want to do with these videos, is kind of bring you into my world of interiors and show you things that perhaps aren't necessarily really super popular on the high street. I know Farrow Ball are on the high street, but other brands that you might not know about, I want to share those with you to give you an alternative finish, design, look to think about.